introduction, want to thank our sponsor, Mobile Notary Mindy. She's certified with the National Notary Association. She's also bonded and E&O insured. She offers a wide range of services, including wills, powers of attorney, medical documents, healthcare proxies, living wills, certification of trust, assignment of personal property, HIPAA waivers, advanced healthcare directives, and 99 verification. You can find her on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram at Mobile Notary Mindy. You can also visit her webpage at TexasMobileNotaryMindy.com. That's TX, MobileNotaryMindy.com. Thank you so much and enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen of all ages, boys and girls, thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of Angry Meat Production. We appreciate you coming in and letting us be a part of your lives week in and week out. We hope to do our best to present you with something that your eardrums delight in. Whether you're looking at us on YouTube or Rumble, or listening to us on Spotify, Google, or Anchor, or any of the other podcast services that we are currently on or trying to get on, we thank you. And if you don't mind, at the end of every episode, stop by, leave us a comment, leave us a like. If it asks for 5 stars, we'll take 5 stars, even if you don't like us. 5 stars are what it's all about. With that being said, we hope you enjoy our attempt to make our advocation our vocation. Ladies and gentlemen, let the games begin.
Welcome, Angry Faithful. Today on Nerd Sports 127, we're going to talk about Rice Paddy Racing. This is interesting.
Why did I suddenly hear Fortunate Son being played?
Sports that you will only see here in the country of Thailand. It is rice tractor drag racing in the middle of a rice field. These guys have taken their farm equipment, modified them, and now they are drag racing.
Okay,
This proves that rednecks are not just in America.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And they hail from Ohio to Texas, now Thailand coming at you, boys.
We're nationwide. We're worldwide.
Yeah, we're international now.
All
right, so playoffs begin in a week, guys, for baseball.
Yes.
So let me see here. The tomorrow, maybe possibly. No. Yeah, we've only got a few games left in the season. The 27th, which is tomorrow, is the last day. Generally speaking, all games are supposed to start within 5 minutes of each other. And the reason why they did that for game 162 is because with in the past, you still had your staggered starts. You had your early morning games, which were considered matinee. Then you had your primetime games that played late afternoon, early evening kind of a situation. Teams could watch the scoreboards and see how that particular team started or fared on the game, and that would dictate to the other team that was scoreboard watching who they would put on the mound, so that way they could rearrange their rotation going into the playoffs. And well, that kind of gave everybody an unfair advantage. I left my tiny hands in the other room, so
don't feel bad.
They're in my duffel bag. I still haven't gotten them out.
Yeah. So, for those of you keeping score at home, Johnny has myself, speaking in the third person, Johnny finally has given everybody a pair of tiny hands. So even David now appears to have a big sausage when he's using them. All right. So, but now what baseball did, and one of the few smart things that they've done here in the past decade or so, is stagger the starts on, for game 162. So that way everybody has, I mean, you have to have your starting rotation set going into the playoffs. It doesn't matter what happens. I mean, game 162 is game 162. If you're that close as far as like missing a playoff appearance, versus a division title, that kind of a thing. I mean, you might as well just put your ace out there and then just hope that game one of your next playoff series is going to fall in your favor with your number 2 guy. Versus, people like the Braves, who really doesn't matter. Roll starter number 5 out there. That way you can keep your ace fresh for game one of your next series, kind of a situation. So yeah, it's been a pretty eventful year. So, I mean, they're talking about like, some pretty bonkers stats over the course of the year. So the Braves, before today and tomorrow, well, actually today and tomorrow's games, the Braves have 299 home runs. They lead the majors by 59 home runs. Over the Dodgers is 240. If you could even take Matt Olson, who's leading the major leagues with 53 homers, off the books, and they'd still be in the lead. They're the only 3 home run leading teams that finished the season with a greater differential over second place were the 1884 White Stockings. That was 102 more than the second place Cleveland Buckeyes, and 140 more than our friends, the Quick Steps, in 1947, and the 1947 Giants, who had 65 more than the Pirates. So as far as the long ball game is concerned, I mean, the Braves were, doing something pretty special this year. And with those 299 home runs, the Braves are not only closing in on the 2019 Twins single season record of 307, but they'll become the first team in history with 300 homers and 100 steals. They've already got 124 stolen bags on the year. So, and Atlanta's 124 weighted runs, which is, created it's called a WRC plus in the stat lines. It's just 1 point shy of the all-time single season mark set by the 1927 Yankees. And for those of you who had never heard of the 1927 Yankees, that was the team that was synonymous with Murderers Row. Lou Gehrig, Babe Ruth. Yeah, it
Literally the gold standard.
The gold standard, yeah. And as much as I hate to admit it, because, the ones wearing the gold standard have pinstripes on their uniforms, but, fuck them. The Braves have right now a 501 slugging percentage. That is insane. There are rookies this year. Rookies. First year players. Combined 9 triples from rookies this year.
Oh man.
And to talk about how rare it would be for the rookies to have at least a share of the league lead in triples in both the American League and National League. Well, according to Elias Sports Bureau, it's happened only once, and then it was in 1904. That year, the Washington Senators, Joe Cassidy, led the American League with 19, and Harry Lumley of the Brooklyn Suburbas led the National League with 18 triples.
Dang.
Mm-hmm.
That's impressive.
Royce Lewis leads the world in 4 Grand Slams this year. That's now he plays third base for the Twins. Now somehow he's gotten 4 Grand Slams, giving him 5 for his career, a career in which he's only played 70 games. So he's made his at bats count. And just now breaking, Hall of Famer Brooks Robinson has died.
Oh, wow.
Let me get the article to pull up here real quick.
Okay.
Brooks Robinson, the legendary Orioles third baseman, dies at the age of 86. He was one of the greatest defenders in baseball history, winning 16 Gold Gloves. This article came out 4 minutes ago. Legendary third baseman and Hall of Famer, affectionately known as Mr. Oriole for spending his entire 23 big league year career in Baltimore, has died at the age of 86. Quote, all of us at Major League Baseball are saddened by the loss of Brooks Robinson, one of the greats of our national pastime and a legend of the Baltimore Orioles, said Major League Baseball Commissioner Manfred, said in a statement. Brooks stood among the greatest defensive players who have ever lived. He was a two-time World Series champion, the 1964 American League MVP, and the winner of 16 consecutive Gold Gloves at third base. He was a model of excellence, durability, loyalty in winning baseball for the Orioles. After his playing career, he continued to make contributions to the game by working with the Major League Players Alumni Association. Quote, I will always remember Brooks as a true gentleman who represented our game extraordinarily well on and off the field in his life. On behalf of Major League Baseball, I send my deepest condolences to the Brooks family, his many friends across our game, and Orioles fans everywhere. The Orioles released a statement on behalf of the team and Robinson's family. Quote, we are deeply saddened to share the news of the passing of Brooks Robinson, an integral part of our Orioles family since 1955. He will continue to leave a lasting impact on our club, our community, and the sport of baseball. Nicknamed the human vacuum cleaner for his exceptional defense at the hot corner, Robinson won 16 Gold Glove awards, the most by any non-pitcher in baseball history, and tied for the second most by any player, among with pitcher Jim Katt. Only Greg Maddux, a pitcher, one more with 18. Robinson was an 18-time All-Star, the 1964 American League MVP award winner, and two-time World Series champion with the 1966 and 70 teams. While also being named the MVP of the Fall Classic in 70, he was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1983, becoming the first third baseman to be elected in his first year of eligibility. Now, although he eventually became synonymous with Baltimore during his playing career and following his retirement, Brooks Calbert Robinson Jr. was born on May 18th, 1937 in Little Rock, Arkansas, where he attended Little Rock Central High School and went on to play baseball at the University of Arkansas and at Little Rock. In 1955, Robinson signed with the Orioles for $4,000, and he made his debut for the team later that year at the age of 18. From 1955 through 59, Robinson played only 304 games for the O's, spending some time in the minor leagues and dealing with numerous injuries. But soon after, Robinson became a fixture in the Orioles lineup, where he'd be a stalwart for the better part of 2 decades. Robinson's breakout year came in 1960 when he was named an All-Star for the first time and captured his first Gold Glove. He was then an All-Star every year through 74 and a Gold Glover every year through 75. While Robinson more than held his own at the plate, it was his glove work that always had everyone in amazement. He was the best defensive player at any position. The late Frank Robinson, a fellow Hall of Famer and Oriole legend, once said, I used to stand in the outfield like a fan and watch him make play after play. I used to think, wow, I can't believe this. As the Orioles excelled in the late 60s and early 70s, Brooks Robinson helped lead the franchise to its first 2 World Series titles in 66 and 70. In the latter, he went 9 for 21 with 2 doubles, 2 homers, 5 runs scored, and 6 RBIs in a 5-game series versus the Reds, which at the time, that was in the height of the Big Red Machine era. We're talking Johnny Bench. We're talking Pete Rose. I mean, those guys. Hall of Fame caliber lineup, top to bottom for multiple years. Joe Morgan was on that team. Yeah, that was an amazing Red squad that they managed to win a World Series against. Now, during the mid-70s, Robinson's playing time waned, with Doug DeCisnis emerging as Baltimore's starting third baseman in 76. Robinson appeared in only 71 games that year. Now, he still returned for the 77 season, serving as a player coach, but he played in only 24 games. And on August 21st, with the Orioles needing to clear a roster spot for Rick Dempsey's return from an injury, Robinson ended his playing career by voluntarily going on the retired list at the age of 40. I mean, the article continues to go on, but yeah, that was breaking news. Again, that was just released. Man,
We're losing the greats one by one.
yeah, one by one. I tell you. Let me see here. Let me get back to here. Home teams winning at a measly 521 clip. So we're talking home teams. Every team that played at home this year averaged, between all the teams across Major League Baseball, only averaged a 521 winning percentage at home this year. The lowest was a 506 winning percentage back in 1917. And the 521 is shared with the 1981 season, which was a partial season, the 1999 season, and then, of course, this year. Oddly enough, the one team notably dragging this percentage down is the confounding Astros, who were struggling so much at home that they painted part of Minute Maid Park's batter's eye after every one of their hitters voiced concerns. The Astros were desperately vying for first place in the American League West with a 481 winning percentage at home. The only team to win its division with a home winning percentage lower than 518 in a full season was the 2001 Braves, who did it with a 494. The Padres this year, with their stacked, the third most expensive lineup in baseball, were 0-12 this year in extra inning games.
Damn.
Trey Turner went 29 for 29 at one point in stolen base attempts this year.
Oh, man.
Kyle Schwarber is hitting a 197 and still makes a big impact. So so how do you explain this? Well, the long ball. He comes up in clutch situations and not just absolutely kills the ball. Like, they have to write obituaries to that ball because it had a family. Clayton Kershaw is leading the team with 126 and 1/3 innings pitched. Now, David, you're probably asking yourself, why is it a third? Well, that's because that's how they measure performance metrics for pitchers. Every out is considered a third. So you have 3 outs, that's 1 inning. So if you say you pitch 6 innings and then get 1 out in the 7th, you've pitched 6 1/3 inning. That makes sense now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. Glad
on his injury plague season, he still had a 10.0 WAR percentage. What that is that's wins above replacement mark. So it's a baseball reference stat. Now, the previous low was Mookie Betts when he did it in 136 games to get to 10.7 when he was playing for the Red Sox back in 2018. But Shohei Ohtani did it in 135 games. Because remember, his season got short because of his elbow injury.
Oh, yeah.
The return of the 2020 player, there are 17 of them and counting. So 20-20, 30-30, 40-40. That is home runs and stolen bases by a single player in the same season. As of today, there are 17 players with at least 20 homers and 20 steals. That's just too shy of the record set during the 99 season. So it's been a pretty stat crazy year for baseball. We're looking at the standings real quick. Baltimore, Tampa Bay, they have clinched playoff berths. Theoretically, Baltimore still has not clinched their division, oddly enough. The Twins have clinched their division. The American League West is still up for debate. Texas has reclaimed first place in the division by 2.5 games over the Astros.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Now,
So they have a slim chance.
yeah, they have a slim chance. Depending on this crucial season-ending series with the for the Astros, they're playing Seattle. They won against Seattle. I think it was today.
No.
Oh no, yesterday. They won against Seattle yesterday. They finish out the season playing in Seattle, so it's today and tomorrow. I'm going to sum up the American League West with a simple sentence. This year for the American League West is not well, no, let me start over. The race for the American League West is not best summed up by who wants it more as who wants it least. So, I mean, both teams. I mean, well, there was the three teams that have just been in and out of it all year long. I mean, even now, the third place is only separated. The top three teams in this division are only separated by 4 games. Now, obviously, Seattle's magic number to be eliminated from playoff contention is down to 3. And to be completely and perfectly honest with you right now, I mean, nobody in the American League West has even clinched a playoff berth yet. So, I mean, Texas is up by 2.5 games. They're playing the Angels. So, it may be a foregone conclusion. Houston and Seattle, they are playing each other to the death, basically, at this point, because if we're going to look at the wild card standings, right now Texas is the division leader, so they would get in. Houston is in 3rd place for the wild card race. Seattle's a game and a half on the outside looking in, followed by the Yankees, who were eliminated, Boston, who was eliminated, Cleveland, who was eliminated, and Detroit was eliminated in that order. Boston is playing in Tampa Bay. I'm not really feeling all that fuzzy about them and their chances.
Yeah, Tampa Bay's been hitting it really hard with this year. And
yeah, I mean, at the beginning of the season, way back in April, I had said that I did not have the warmest of fuzzies about my Boston Red Sox's chances this year.
Yeah.
They're not even going to have a winning season. They are going to finish below 500 again. So
looks like the curse is back.
No, it's not.
No.
Here's why.
It's just they're in a tough. I mean, that's the toughest division.
Yes, hey, it is the toughest division in baseball. B. Our general manager, whom we were stuck with for the last couple of years, up until just recently, I'm talking about you, Hainbloom. Certifiable idiot. Pitching matters. I do not care who you are or what regime of baseball that you claim to hail from. Pitching matters, both starting, relief, and closing. You've got your front end relief, you've got your middle relief, and you've got your late innings relief. So when your starting rotation is injury laden, over the hill, past their prime, or not ready to start, and then you put a huge tax on your bullpen throughout the course of a 162-game, 6-month season, I dare you to do better. So for me, what I think would need to happen is that Alex Cora needs to be relieved of his managerial duties, made general manager, because the guy has a lot of baseball IQ. And that the longtime captain, my captain, Jason Varitek, needs to be named manager of the Boston Red Sox. Not only would that be a fan favorite, a beloved move by the front office for the fan base, but it would be beneficial for the club because Jason Varitek has demonstrated time and time again that he knows what he's talking about. He played in the Little League World Series. He played in the College World Series. He played in the actual World Series. He's caught quite a few no-hitters, and he's the only Boston Red Sox player to ever punch Alex Rodriguez in the face.
I mean, that right there is
Mhm.
even if he had nothing else, just that alone would be enough.
Yeah, I mean, if he had nothing else on his resume, and there's just one little tiny thing. He helped break the curse of the Bambino. He was our catcher in 2004. He was also the catcher in 2007.
Yep.
And they're like, no. So fans at home are going, oh, gee, Johnny, who was the catcher in 2013? Oh, that's funny. I'm glad you asked. Great question. Jared Saltalamacchia.
Say that 3 times fast.
Yeah, right. And Christian Vasquez, of all people, was our catcher in 2018. So, hey, don't at me. All right. But yeah, it's I mean, we're playoff baseball, like I said, starts next week. And while I may not have a dog in the fight, it's going to be an interesting run. I think at this point, far and away, the Braves are favored to win it all. So, and if they did, I would not be a bit surprised with the way
they making it in the AL.
In the American League, I honestly
think the Orioles will take it. I would say they'd probably be the obvious favorite, but
yeah. Now, see, here's the thing. Just like in the NHL, postseason baseball is a completely different animal. I mean, it's basically a brand new season. Everybody starts 0-0.
Yep.
The Orioles are a relatively young club. They don't have a lot of playoff experience on that roster. If I had to pick right now, and please, by no stretch of the imagination, Chris, take this any way, shape, form, or fashion the wrong way.
I will.
No, I know you will. I think that the Astros will get it figured out because when it comes to playoff baseball, they seem to kind of rise. But I think it's going to be the ALCS. The ALCS is going to feature Houston and Baltimore. Now, if Texas and Houston meet in the divisional series,
which I think is likely,
that's going to go all 7 games.
Yeah.
Or 5 games. No, it's a 5-game series, right? Yeah, I think. Anyways, yeah, that one's going to go the distance. It's going to be the ultimate of the Silver Boot series. I mean, 100%.
Yeah.
Because it just seems like from the get-go, from the winter meetings on from last year, Texas's entire premise for signing the roster that they got, the trades at the moves at the trade deadline that they made, was for the sole purpose of beating the Houston Astros this year. 3. And it as far as terms of like rivalry, as far as like within the divisions are going to be concerned, the Texas and Houston rivalry is starting to ramp up with the same type of intensity that New York and Boston have been experiencing for like the last 100 years.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, there's always been that geographical rivalry, but it's nice this year that there was actually a talent rivalry. Like it was.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice to see. Now, you got a lot of intangible variables here, like, general managers finally pulling their heads out of their 4th point of contact and,
right,
making some moves to make make Texas better. Put some wins on the board, maybe take away a division title so that way they can justify spending the amount of money that they've been spending, to pay for that stadium that gives their fans obstructed views through various spots throughout the stadium. But now on Houston's side of it, I've been reading a lot of articles. There's been rumblings that the clubhouse has lost its confidence in Dusty Baker. The general manager's kind of lost a little bit of a little bit of an edge. Maybe they've sacrificed too much as far as their farm system is concerned to try to make moves that haven't paid off. But I don't know. It's definitely turning out to be the rivalry that the state of Texas has actually deserved as far as baseball is concerned for the longest time.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as the NFL is concerned, you obviously got Dallas versus whatever team happens to be occupying Houston at the time. Back when it was the Oilers, Houston actually did kind of hold the edge in that rivalry. But after the Oilers left and the Texans decided that they wanted to populate themselves into existence, now whether or not the Texans have actually managed to pull their head out of the ether, that's yet to be. The jury's still out on that one. But
I always thought the rivalry was more or less like Dallas Cowboys and Washington Redskins.
no, we're talking about geographical.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay. Original. Now, when we get to football, there is a story out there about the Redskins. But I'll get to that in just a minute. But yeah, look for game 162, day 162. I say day 162. That's what they dub it. It's going to be a busy day tomorrow. It's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be mercifully sweet, bittersweet. It's going to be. I'm going to have all kinds of emotions tomorrow because, after tomorrow, I'm going to wake up and there's not going to be any more Red Sox baseball until fucking spring training opens back up. But I'm just going to have to make do.
You got hockey coming up.
Yeah, I mean, hockey's coming up. True. I mean, Brad Marchand was just named the newest captain of the Boston Bruins. So, I'm pretty okay with that. And I know, Chris, you're pulling for your Dallas Stars. I get it. My oldest son is doing the same thing, and I'm like, hey, great, awesome. I honestly don't want the Bruins to go out and win the President's Trophy this year because you saw what happened in the playoffs last year. They choked in the first fucking round. Like, really? Come on, man. You're going to go out and you're going to win the President's Trophy by winning the most regular season games, set an NHL record for regular season record plus points scored. And then you're going to choke it.
It's a Dallas tradition.
Yeah.
Well, I was talking about the Bruins.
No, the Bruins, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That fucking sucked.
Yeah.
I was.
They just transferred the curse from the Red Sox to
Yeah,
the Bruins. It's got to stay in the area.
All I know is that Jeremy Swayman, in his sophomore effort for as far as being in the league, he better outshine Lewis, or he better outshine Ullmark this year. That's all I got to say. Because, well, and he did for the most part. And why we didn't have Jeremy Swayman starting in the net for more than just the 2 games that he was in there for, I have no idea. Come to find out that Ullmark was hurt for the games that he was in there, but yeah, for some reason they decided to stick with him because, oh, look at him. He won game 1. So fucking what? You knew he was hurt. Don't put the playoffs in jeopardy. Like, seriously? Come on. Be better.
Right.
All right. Now, having said all that, we're going to put baseball to bed for right now. Let me pull up our beleaguered picks from for this week.
Okay, while you're doing that, we're gonna start out with a bang with the Dolphins with all the memes from TikTok. Hold on,
there were some interesting ones.
There were some funny ones.
Can we tie that in with the actual score when we go over
it? Go ahead.
Yeah, because to me that just
it all set up.
Oh, you're getting it all set up. Okay, great, yeah. Awesome, good. All right.
wait. He's actually doing the producer job.
Yes, I've been
producing.
Looking out, Chris.
Those guys growing up.
Now, last week we had pretty decent picks as far as as it. I mean, we did. We had a pretty good record last week for the picks.
Oh, last week we were great.
We were great. I mean, we would have made money hand over fist. Barstool would have actually exempted us from making more bets.
Yeah.
But this week,
this week they'd be rolling out the red carpet for us. Bet all you want, guys. Come on in.
I mean, the bookies would be sending their enforcers after our women this week.
Oh God, yes.
Apologize to my children.
Listen, you know that college fund that you were interested in? Yeah.
Yeah, the college fund got pissed away this week. Oh, thank you so much. You are an angel. It is Taco Tuesday, gentlemen. And yeah, I have tacos. Oh, and La Casona salsa. Oh man, let me tell you. Mamacita, she angry a lot when she makes this, dude. It's so spicy. All right, let me take this.
Spicy.
All right, so we're going to start off the week with what seems to be like the one thing that lulled us into a false sense of security. We picked the 49ers to beat the New York Football Giants. Guess what? That happened 30-12.
Yeah.
And we start venturing into unfamiliar territory.
Oh no, it's familiar territory.
No. It's familiar for you, but as far as like the group, on the average, on the whole, David, right where you like it, this is unfamiliar.
On the whole.
Wait,
not in the hole. On the whole. On the whole. We don't breach the precipice. We don't plunge into the depths. We don't spelunk into the hole.
It's just the tip.
It's the tip. All right, so instead of just sticking our toes in the jacuzzi, baby, we're going to dive right into the deep end. We picked the Ravens to beat the Indianapolis Colts, which you would have thought would have been a no-brainer. Well, damn it. The Colts managed to figure out a way to win 22-19. Then we took what should have been the safe bet and picked the Titans to beat the Cleveland Browns. Somehow, some way, the Browns...
Stomped.
I think what the Browns are doing this season is that they're starting to build their fan base up. And what they're doing is they're in essence, they're building a powder keg. Because, and I'm going to call my shot now that whenever the season starts winding down and it starts mattering the most, the Cleveland Browns are going to they're going to infuse the detonator for this powder keg with hate and piss. And when they finally choke it all away, one of their dead fans are going to fall on the plunger and they're going to detonate the entire city of Cleveland. It's going to dissipate, eviscerate. It's going to sublimate from the map. It's going to remove itself from the annals of history and just cease to be.
From all memory.
I'm calling that shot right now. So, but getting back to the story here, the Titans should have beaten the Browns, but the Titans showed up in Cleveland in the dog pound and seemingly forgot how to play football. Ryan Tannehill once again demonstrated that he has no business playing in the National Football League. He led the Titans to a dismal 3-27 beating at the hands of the Cleveland Browns. That's right. Now, last week, sports fans, if you remember correctly, I fought for the Detroit Lions and my pick of them over the Atlanta Falcons. And by God, they held true to their word, and they made me look like somewhat of a savant, even if it's just this one time. And they beat the Atlanta Falcons 20-6. They showed up and they were as cool as the other side of the pillow. They said, not in our house. No, see, you get to go back to that monstrosity of a dome that you call home and live out your days remembering what it was like when Tom Brady spanked you in the second half of the Super Bowl and came back to win when you were leading 28-3. We picked the Packers over the Saints. That was 2 picks in a row that we managed to get right. So the Saints lost by 1 point, but still won as good as 1,000. Then we had the Jaguars. We had the Jaguars beating the Texans. Should have been.
How is that not a lock?
Yeah, it should have been the easiest. Not the easiest pick of the week, but it was a no-brainer.
One of. Yeah.
One of. Well, the Texans managed to figure out that, oh my God, we're professional football players. We might, just might, want to start acting like it. And well, they did. They went into Trevor Lawrence's house and they put a spanking on that pussy. I mean, kitty. They stuck their horns. They stuck their horns in the kitty. Is that appropriate? 37-17. They beat up on the Jags. Now, we did pick Miami. What? No. Okay. David, I know that you're chomping at the bit because you feel like this week that you're going to be relevant, that you're going to have something substantive to contribute to the conversation. But I say nay. Wait, young sir, because there's commentary to be given before you start spreading the screen around and showing everybody the memes and the TikToks. And oh my, lions and tigers and bears. Hold on, Dorothy, before you start clicking your heels and saying that there's no place like home. The adults are talking. Okay. All right. So we picked the Dolphins, the fish of Miami. The subject matter surrounding the first Ace Ventura movie to beat the donkeys of the Mile High City. They did it. Not only did they do that, but they set the second most points scored in an NFL game by beating the donkeys 70-20. You heard that. That was a 50-point differential. 50 points. Winning that game 70-0, not 69, not 71, not 68. By God, 70. That is 7 decades that they put up on the whippersnapper 20-year-olds. That do 50 years. Can you imagine what would happen if, like, say, Texas A&M were to put up 70 points against any opponent? Every time that Texas A&M scores either a field goal or a touchdown, the Corps of Cadets has to do push-ups to equal those points, right? We would have had guys walking out of there with shoulders and arms and triceps looking like telephone poles. Or we'd have been performing CPR because dudes just went in complete muscle failure and their heart said, and I'm done. Do 70-20. Now, I'm going to take a step back. 1, because I'm going to eat some of these tacos. 2, I'm going to give David the opportunity to either A, hang himself, B, shine like a fucking rock star, or C,
wallow in mediocrity.
Yeah, I was going to say wallow in mediocrity. Now, I know that we're live. So if anybody is out there in the comments, I want you in the next, say 30 seconds. Well, no, you know what? We'll give you time. We'll say 60 seconds. A, B, or C. Fail miserably. A. B, shine like a rock star. Or C, be mediocre. Put your predictions out in the chat. And yeah, David.
You know what? I'm going. I am flying by faith. I'm saying, hey, he is going to shine. This is his moment in the sun.
I listened to his appearance on the Full Stop podcast with Tansy. And, he sounded very professional, very enunciated. And, I'm going to have faith. I'm going to say he's going to shine. So, yeah. No, A would be fail. So you and me, we're going to have to take B. Yeah. So B. Yeah. He's going to shine. So I'm going with B. You know what? As a matter of fact, I'm just going to throw this out there. I'm going to join the chat. And I'm going to connect with my YouTube account here. So let me do that. And then I'm going to say allow. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get in on it here. And I'm going to say B. Oh, he's drumming his fingers. Dude. Hey, you know what?
Spicy.
Fuck you, buddy. Take your little upstart there shit and just maybe tone it down there a couple of notches there, Squirrely Dan.
Are you ready, guys?
Oh, look, the ground. Yeah, go for it.
All out. This is a safe place. Psych, because the Miami Dolphins have just beat the fuck out of the Dendeng My Little Ponies, winning 70-20, shattering NFL records and moving to 3-0. Fuck yeah. The Two-A-Side squad put on an absolute clinic scoring the most points in franchise history, finishing with an NFL record 726 total yards, and becoming the first team to score 70 or more since 1966. Holy fuck. Big Time Tua got big time buckets, destroying the sorry-ass Broncos for 309 yards and 4 touchdowns. Devon Achane secretly turned out to be prime Barry Sanders, going for 233 total yards and 4 touchdowns. The Miami missile Raheem Mostert ascended to godlike levels, ending with 142 total yards and 4 touchdowns. And the cheetah Tyreek Hill was absolutely cracked, finishing for 157 yards and a touchdown. Congrats to the Finns on the epic win.
That was the
Shaky
first
start. Shaky start. Shaky start. I got to be honest.
Pop quiz, David.
That was a recap.
How many yards from scrimmage per play did the Dolphins average on Sunday? Without looking it up.
I have no idea because I didn't watch the game. I was watching NASCAR.
I understand that, but considering the time and effort that you put into a matching video, the answer would be 10.2.
It's the Krusty Burglar!
Oh my God, he's stealing all the burgers! Why, you little... I got you! Go! Go!
It's all just an act.
Stop! Stop! He's already dead.
All right,
That was good.
Redemption.
this is the last one, and this is coming from one of the Broncos players. Let me get this up. All right.
The cringiest player in the NFL. Not only has he cursed us with his horrible
Broncos country, let's rock.
but he also made one of the worst commercials.
Nope, that wasn't it. There we go.
Tired of losing, man. I've been here for 7 years, and all I've done is loss, and it's frustrating. Tired of losing, man.
It's kind of sad.
That is utter defeat.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes it doesn't matter how much money you make off of a team playing for them and everything. You want to have that at least win. So, I mean, just looking at his face and seeing that, I'm like, I'll find you a place so you can play and hopefully you can win at least 1 or 2 games.
When you get beat down by half a century.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, it's gonna follow you. I mean, that sticks with you, man.
Yeah, it does. I mean, he's going to wake up at night and he's going to think about that because somewhere down the line, NFL Films is going to do a reunion episode about that game.
Oh,
And
yeah.
not a single player who played for the Denver Broncos is going to want to fucking participate.
Yep.
That's like Robin Ventura did not want to participate in the Becoming Nolan movie and give an interview.
Yeah. Why not?
Oh, something to do with getting his ass beat on national television. All right, so moving on. We had the Chargers beating the Vikings. That happened 28-24. I think at this point that the Vikings need to apologize to their fan base and just start looking ahead to next year, or at least looking ahead to try to finishing the season strong. And I think they seriously need to make considerations for trading Kirk Cousins. I mean, they need a different quarterback.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We had the Jets over the Pats. We got that one wrong, thankfully, because, I'm like, yeah, okay. Patriots beat the Jets 15-10. So somewhere, somehow, the world righted itself. I'm like, okay. Moving on, we had the Bills over the Redskins. That was one of the no-brainers of the week that worked out in our favor. The Bills beat the Commanders, i.e. the Redskins, 37-3. Now, with that having been said, there was a lawsuit filed today in the District of Columbia. Native American groups filed a lawsuit stating that the former logo of the Commanders, when it was still the Redskins, was an actual historical figure. And that when the Redskins were on the field playing the way that they should, they were honoring his legacy and memory by playing with honor and vigilance. And that they demand that they change their name back to the Redskins.
Awesome.
And what I think is the most fun about that is not the fact that, yes, this group of Native Americans were completely behind the idea of a team being named the Redskins. It's that it actually contradicts
What the Karen's been
the
saying?
logic of the woke mentality society.
No, Johnny,
They're-
don't do
It's
that.
offensive. Oh my God, my pussy hurts. Like,
What?
really?
Won't
I
you
mean-
think of the poor natives?
The entitled, and you know what? And I'm going to say this. And I'm going to say this with as much of a straight face as I possibly can. But the entitled leftist white mentality, the arrogance of the white left.
Really?
Yes. That,
Absolutely.
let me finish. The arrogance of the entitled white left to think, to assume, to propagate that you have such a high situational, environmental, spatial awareness that you are somehow blessed with the omnipotence of God and you know exactly what some other demographic is feeling. That you can reach into the minds and the souls of every other ethnic group on this planet and know exactly what offends them. I mean,
It's
Call
the
me
I'm
funny.
offended for you.
call me, I don't know, old fashioned, call me skeptical of your powers. But I find it just the tiniest bit hilarious that you got this one wrong. And I'm kind of wondering, did your psychics predict this and you just chose to ignore them, or maybe they're just not really psychics at all? I'm willing to go out on a bet or on a limb here and bet that that the lot of you are just complete dumbasses. Quit pretending that you know what the other group is feeling. How about we engage in a conversation? We find out what's offensive and what's not. And if it offends you, well, then you have every right in this country, every right as a human being given to us upon high by God himself as our creator to ignore whatever it is that's offending you. That's like Facebook, social media, TikTok, whatever it is, whether it be Twitter X or something. If you see something that you don't like, instead of sitting there going, well, I'm going to report them and put them in jail, blah, blah, blah. Instead of getting on there and acting like a keyboard tough guy, like I'm a space bar assassin. I'm like, shut up. Just keep scrolling. Just keep on swimming. Keep on swimming. We need to stop with the social justice movement. I mean, it's overplayed. It's actually hampering the advancement of mankind.
Yes.
And I mean, when people like Seth MacFarlane are writing entire episodes talking about the effect that social media has upon an entire culture, i.e., I'm talking about the Orville. If you haven't seen that episode, please, by all means, check it out. I believe it's season 2.
Season 1.
Is it season 1? Okay. See, thank you, David. But we need to just quit. I mean, we need to stop. We really do. Because, oh, well, it's offensive. You can't talk about the Native Americans. That's why we got rid of the Cleveland Indians. And now all of a sudden they're the Cleveland Guardian. Oh, by God, you can't be like the Midwestern State University. What were they? They used to be the Indians, right? Oh, now they're the Mustangs. Okay, well, okay, whatever.
It's offensive to horses.
Yeah, it's offensive to horses. How do you know that horse is offended?
Peter's going to get on their ass.
I'm giving a voice to the voiceless.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't talk to him, but I'm going to give him a voice anyway.
yeah, I mean,
I have no purpose.
their flank kind of twitched a little bit when I said Mustang. So that must be an offensive term to them. Like, come. The point is, if you've got that much time and you got that much energy that you can devote your life's energy, your life's work to defending the voiceless, to speaking up on behalf of other people, you were born way, way too early. I mean, your mom and dad needed to have you frozen cryogenically and implanted in a surrogate somewhere further down the line in your family lineage. I mean, you're out here living in the year 3000 if you think that you can speak on behalf of everybody and know what you're talking about. So I don't know. Call me old fashioned, call me a caveman. I don't really care. I know how I feel about things. And I know how other people feel about things because I have conversations with them.
Mhm.
And I don't have conversations with people who are like-minded. I actually invite the discourse. I actually invite the debate. I'm not claiming to be right about 100% of the things that I believe in. If you can convince me with overwhelming evidence that has been scientifically proven, that has been theologically tested, and it's a sound argument based in logic, hey, fine. I'll admit that I was wrong, and I'm willing to change my opinion. But if my opinion differs from yours, if my belief system differs from yours, that doesn't make me a bigot. That doesn't make me wrong. It doesn't make me homophobic or transphobic. It doesn't make me any of those things. It just means that I've got an opinion that differs from yours. And if that's not something that you're willing to understand, not something that you're willing to comprehend, if you're unable to wrap your head around that concept, well, then I'm sorry. You need to take that up with a therapist. You need to take that up with your parents because obviously somewhere along the lines they failed you. It's not society's responsibility to raise you. It was your parents. And if you grew up and you did not have parents, if you grew up in the foster system and you didn't have that guiding hand, or if you did have that guiding hand, point is, somewhere along the lines during our impressionable years, you had to be molded by one person or another. And if you were molded to believe that the world owes you something because you decided to speak up and say, I identify as, or I believe that this offends me because of, well, guess what? I got a really hot flash for you. It doesn't. The world doesn't owe us squat. Doesn't know you, doesn't know me, doesn't know David, it doesn't know Chris. We have to work and we have to fight for everything that we have in this world. And there are a lot of things in this world that I know that the three of us, I mean, I think I can speak confidently to this effect, and correct me if I'm wrong, please, gentlemen, but there are things in this world that we would like to have, but we know that we might never obtain because of circumstances that may A, be out of our control, or B, physical limitations, financial limitations, whatever it may be. And, we make peace with that. If we look at every plan that we have that's available to us to make that particular thing a reality, to make it a tangible thing in our lives where we can hold it and we can use it and, we can apply it to bettering our lives. If we can't feasibly and realistically obtain said object, then we just look for another alternative, right? Am I correct in assuming that, guys?
Yep.
Okay, so getting back to the Redskins, if this lawsuit gets shot down, look for more like it to be filed from all over the nation. Look for petitions to be created, signed, and turned in. I don't see this fight going away anytime soon. And the fact that a lawsuit was filed goes to just prove how big of an idiot Dan Snyder really was. And we hope and pray that even as Cowboys fans, that the new ownership group for the Washington team comes to their senses and realizes that the legacy name was not a bad thing. We need to bring back some kind of continuity of rivalry back to the division, because Lord knows that the New York Football Giants are not posing a threat to anybody in the NFC East. And it may just simply take a name change. And in this case, it's not a new name change. It's reverting back to the one that should have never gone away in the first place. I never really thought that I'd ever find myself in a position to rooting for the Washington Redskins in such a manner that I would be saying I agree with this idea. But as far as the name is concerned, it's a name. It's a name that carries historical significance. It's a name that carries a legacy, not only in the NFL, but to the Native American people as a whole. Let's bring it back. It's just a simple thing. Agree to it. Say, yeah, this is a stupid thing, and it should have never changed. And then at that point, the ownership group, all they've got to do is just fork over the cash for new marketing, new merchandising, new trademarks on the logo, and just go forward. Roll out the helmets before the season's over. Go for it. I would love to see that.
Yeah, me too.
But moving on. Sorry, guys. I felt like I'll let that get away from me, and I do apologize. Yeah. It's like the whole LeBron thing. Anytime he runs his mouth, I just have to get on that soapbox. But with the Redskins, I mean, to me, that it just enough is enough. But moving on, we had the Seahawks beating the Panthers. That one occurred for us, 37-27 in favor of the Sea Slugs from Seattle. And then we had the Cowboys beating the Cardinals.
Yeah, that was
Dak Prescott. Good God, man. You picked a hell of a time and a hell of a team to throw your first interceptions against.
I was honestly wondering when this was going to happen, what time frame, because
I expected it at the very least to happen against the Eagles.
I almost did too.
Honestly, not against the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah.
But hey, you know what? Fine. If you're going to do it now. Get it out of your system early, so that way we're not choking.
You know what's really sad about that game, though, is a lot of people are talking about the Cowboys' loss for that game.
Yeah, they're talking about the Cardinals winning.
No, they're not even talking about the Cardinals winning. They're talking about Taylor Swift being there. And Taylor,
no. Before you get started down that road, Taylor Swift is dating / married to Travis Kelce, who plays tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs, which is the next game that we're about to talk about.
Oh, that was the Chiefs. Fuck.
Yes.
Damn red things.
Hey, but look at you, David. You were 0-1, then you went to 1-1, and now you're back to 1-2. So you've got until the end of the show to redeem yourself, and I'm fully convinced that you'll make that happen. So I have faith in you guys. All right. We had the Chiefs over the Bears. That one resoundingly happened in our favor, 41-10. Now, what was fun about this game is the fact that Travis Kelce and apparently Taylor Swift, all you Swifties, are in a relationship. There was also rumors that they eloped, which surprised the hell out of Travis's brother. But yeah, nonetheless, everybody was surprised that T Swift managed to somehow appear at Arrowhead Stadium, and she was in the privacy or the luxury suite with Travis's mom, cheering on their boy. And of course, once people started realizing that Taylor Swift was in the building, the pressure started mounting for the Kansas City offense to get Travis the ball. And Patrick Mahomes himself said, yeah, the pressure was definitely ratcheted up as soon as he realized that T Swift was in the building. He needed to get his boy a touchdown. And they managed to do it. So, hey, good luck to the new couple. I hope it's not one of these things where, they're done in like a couple of weeks and, he becomes the subject of her next album. If Kelce was going to play this right, he would tell her his favorite color is orange.
Yeah.
because nothing rhymes with that fucking word.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, moving on.
Never signed an NDA.
Right.
I would if I ever got.
Raiders beating the Steelers. Why? Why did we do that?
I don't.
23-18.
No, in our defense, it's basically like this week when it's coming up to the one game that we're gonna have to figure out who's gonna win and who's gonna lose, and it's gonna be the most toughest point of this episode because next week the Bears are going against the Donkeys. That is the most difficult game to judge who's gonna win. It's mostly whoever wants the number 1 draft pick for next year.
We'll get there. Hold on. We had the Buccaneers picking the Eagles. We knew that this was going to be an L for us, but we said we were going to pick the Bucs anyway because why? Fuck the Eagles. That's why, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, the Eagles came back and said, yeah, we're going to just go out here and we're going to win 25-11. 11? Man, that's an awfully weird number. What happened there? Well, I'm willing to bet that at least one safety occurred.
Yeah.
I have no idea. It's either that. Or it was a bunch of field goals and a safety, or maybe a couple of field goals and a touchdown with a missed extra point. Best I can figure. Anyway, 11 points. Who knew? I didn't even know that was possible in the NFL, but there you go. Leave it to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to prove what is otherwise thought to be
that possible?
I knew you were going to ask. Game details. Let me go ahead and break this down here real quick. Come on, NFL. There we go.
Because I'm literally trying to go over the math in my head.
All right. So Tampa Bay scored a field goal in the second quarter. So it was 13-3 going into the half. And then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did not score again until the fourth quarter when they scored 8 points. So what they did is they scored a touchdown and a 2-point conversion.
Okay.
So there you go. All right. And then we had the Rams beating the Bengals. Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals showed up for work wearing their whiteout uniforms and managed to beat the Stetson Bennett the fourthless Los Angeles Rams. Oh, and I know it's not. I know it's a serious matter. Stetson Bennett the fourth, the quarterback from Georgia who was drafted and signed to the Los Angeles Rams. This is his rookie year. He has been removed from the active roster. The team cited personal problems. Sources closest to Stetson Bennett the fourth said that it is because of alcohol problems, and other court sources that are close to him have stated that it was alcohol-related problems stemming from his college years. And I'm thinking to myself, that's a pretty serious thing, and I hope that he gets over it. I hope that he comes to terms with his demons. I hope that he gets a handle on sobriety. But when you spend 8 years in college, you do tend to develop a drinking problem.
That is true.
I'm not wrong. I mean,
no.
You spend 2 years in the military and you develop a drinking problem. So, yeah, I'm just kind of putting that out there. Anyway, so we're going to move on to week 4. Let me come over here, wipe out our picks. All right. Now, first on the docket, Thursday night game. We have got the Lions at the Packers. This is a divisional game. The Packers, and they're playing at home. The Lions are coming into Lambeau. David, what are you doing?
There you go.
Okay. All right. Okay. You know what? No. Let me share my screen because I'm on the NFL website. I don't know what the fuck you're looking at there. I see. Hold on. I'm comparing screens. Hold on. Yeah, no, get that shit out of here, dude. Get that shit out of here. All right. Here we go. Share. Do you believe in love after love? Oh, there we go. Life after love. There we go. Okay. I want to say the Lions because they finally came through, and I believed in them last week, and they finally won for us. But I'm kind of leaning the Packers this one.
Same.
What do you think, David?
I don't know. It's one of those toss-ups.
I mean, my gut's telling me go with the Packers, but my heart really wants the Lions to win.
Not really a Packers fan. Of course, I'm not.
I'm not either.
Not at all.
Not even a Lions fan. This week's kind of a messed up week because there's a lot of people I just don't want to see win.
So are you abstaining from your vote? Is that what you're telling me?
They're playing each other.
Yeah. So are you telling me that you're abstaining your vote on this particular game?
I hate the Lions least more than the Packers. So let's go with Lions.
Least more. So you're going Lions. All right. So 2-1. All right. Give it to David. I'm telling you, man. All right. Okay. Next on the docket is going to be the Falcons at the Jaguars. Now, this game is going to be played at Wembley Stadium in London. So it's going to be played on Sunday morning at 8:30 in the morning.
That's a jackpot game.
Jacksonville, I think the last couple times that they've played over there, they've won. So I'm gonna go with Jacksonville on this one.
Yeah. I still feel like we should apologize to England for having to subject them to this game, though.
Yeah. Sorry, England.
Could have been worse. They could have hosted the Denver Miami game.
That's true.
Oh yeah.
Then they'd have this unfair perception of how the game is supposed to go. I don't know. Now we have the 3-0 Dolphins visiting Orchard Park, New York, to play the 2-1 Buffalo Bills. That's going to be That's going to be a shootout. It's a slobber knocker. It's going to be a barn burner. It's going to be pandemonium.
Playing with the at the Bills, so I don't know.
I mean, the weather's not bad in Buffalo yet.
Yeah. October 1st, so it could change by that time frame.
I want to take the Bills, man, because
I mean, how many games how many home games have Dolphins played so far? Are all there's been home games or no?
No, they haven't. I think the first one was a home game, and they opened up on then they went to the road, then they came home. No. I think they opened. It doesn't matter. Whatever. I kind of want to take the Bills on this one, and it's not because I dislike the Suicide Squad, as that TikTok video so eloquently coined them as. I think that Josh Allen has got it figured out. I think that the Buffalo defense is going to step up. I think they're going to punch Miami in the mouth. They're not going to be able to run as rampantly. Now, don't take last week's 70-point performance as an indication of the type of potential that this offense has. It is a professional offense. Do not get me wrong, but they played against Denver.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Is what do they used to say?
You would think that Denver would have come down to Miami and played with a little bit more gusto, considering that they train at altitude and then they come down to sea level where the air is a lot thicker. That they would have been able to breathe a lot deeper, that they would have been able to run harder, longer, faster. You know, I don't know, man. I want to take the Bills on this one.
I'd take the Bills.
My gut say the Dolphins, but I'm not going to go against the consensus.
I mean, I could put you down as being a conscientious,
Put me down as an objector.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like the Dolphins are going to pull it out. They're carrying a lot of momentum.
They are. That's why I'm kind of like halfway on that one too. That's actually going to be a good game to watch. Dolphins and Bills.
Okay. Next on the docket, we have the Vikings at the Panthers. And this is the this is the America doesn't give a shit game of the week.
No. That's the next one.
Well, it's a doubleheader.
I feel like these are equally.
It's a doubleheader. So
yeah,
you know,
these are both equally meh.
It's a yeah. Well, I mean, it doesn't even give it. It doesn't even warrant a. It doesn't even warrant a mid rating. I mean, they're not mid at all. I mean, we're talking Bush League. I'm going to say the Vikings.
I agree, only because it's easier just to agree on this one.
Okay, because here's my mindset. The Vikings, obviously the potential is there because the roster has not changed that drastically from last year. Okay. Yeah. They've got too much talent on that roster to go 0-4. If anything, their schedule for the first half of the season, this would be the one game that you could circle to say we feel confident about this one because it's the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah. So next, Don. Like I said, there's no really argument.
Weigh in on
it. There's no real weigh in on it. It's one of those things. It's like
literally flip a coin on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Bears only because I hate the Donkeys that much. That's the only thing.
I'm literally going to say the Bears just because they're due.
Yeah, that's right. No, yeah, it is because the Bears are due.
Yeah,
it's their turn.
It's their turn to beat the shit out of a freaking horse.
They're gonna whip the ass off the asses. I mean,
yeah,
I'm just kind of putting that out there.
It's fitting.
But remember, Russell Wilson, Bronco Country, let's ride. Okay. Now we've got the Ravens visiting the Browns.
I'd say the Browns.
I'm going Browns.
Are you going to go Browns?
I'm going Browns.
You know what? Fuck it.
I can't wait to
I feel like this is going to be a surprise.
Have you seen their new logo? Because they're actually going to put a bulldog on their helmets now. But the design is like it incorporates the whole entire thing. Their area. It's actually pretty cool.
I mean,
yeah.
I think it's cool.
I mean, if it were me, I mean, hold on just a second here. Let me look at something real quick. Hold on.
What do you?
Hold on. I mean, if it were me and I had to pick if I had to pick the logo that would go on the side of the Browns helmet. Let me get to my screen here real quick. Let's see here. We're gonna go. Hold on. I'm gonna present again here. Hold on just a second, David. This is what the logo would look like. You could make that work on a brown helmet.
It's a dog butt.
It's absolutely fitting.
Yeah. So
all
right. So just kind of like okay. All right. So pull the scoreboards back up. I'm sorry. I couldn't. I mean, dude, the opportunity presented itself. Like, just
it was perfect.
So,
you going with us on that? You're going Browns?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Browns on that one.
The upset?
Yeah. The Steelers are going to be visiting NRG Stadium to play the Texans. Steelers. Next is going to be Rams at the Colts.
Rams.
Okay.
Yeah. It's more or less all you have to do this season. It's like who are the Colts losing?
Kind of want to say the Saints.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
The Saints?
Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah, kind of with you on that one. I ain't saying that, but you know.
And then we've got the Redskins, hopefully the Redskins, over the at the Eagles, as much as I hate saying it.
I hate to say this, but you know.
I think the Eagles. Only because they're at home.
How'd you do that without throwing up a little bit in your mouth?
Because I have like 101 fever.
Okay, yeah, that'll work.
I'm already sick, so it's not like it can make me any worse.
We've got the Bengals at Titans. I'm going to take the Bengals.
Yeah,
Bengals.
Definitely on that one.
And then we've got the Raiders going to the Chargers. Chargers?
I believe so.
Yeah, I'm feeling Chargers.
And then we've got New England coming to AT&T Stadium to play the Cowboys. If the Cowboys can get back to their turnover-free football, Dak Prescott remembers that he is not Quincy Jones or Quincy Carter. See what I did there? I pulled a quarterback out from way back.
Yeah. I think the Cowboys got this one.
Cowboys?
Yeah. Patriots haven't really been.
They're at home.
Yeah.
Then we've got the Cardinals going to San Francisco to play the 49ers. I'm taking the Niners.
Yeah, 49ers actually have a somewhat decent team this year.
The Chiefs at the Jets. We're going to take the Chiefs on that one.
Yep.
Now the bigger question is by how much?
You know what?
I don't think it's going to be that far. I think
It'll be a 13-point game.
It's not going to be a blow up.
No, it's going to be a 13-point game. And then the Monday night game, which is the last game of the week for the picks, it's going to be the Seahawks at the New York Football Giants. I'm taking the Seahawks to take that one.
Agree.
Yeah.
All right. So to recap, David, also I'm going to send these to you here real quick. I have got Packers over the Lions. David's taking the Lions on that one. Jags over the Falcons. Bills over the Fish. Chris is taking the Fish in that one. The Vikings over the Panthers. Bears over the Donkeys. Browns over the Ravens. Steelers over the Texans. Rams over the Colts. Saints over the Bucks. Eagles over the Redskins. Bengals over the Titans. Chargers over the Raiders. Cowboys bouncing back and taking the Patriots. The Niners over the Cards. Chiefs beating up on the Jets. And the Sea Slugs are going to walk in and beat up on the little guys of New York. And so that is going to be our picks for the week. Let me get this up here. David, where's your at? Okay, right there. We're going to go here, paste, and bada bing. All right, so there are our picks for the week. May God bless them. May God watch over them. May he protect them. Now, going to NASCAR. All right, so before we get into the race coming up at Talladega, Angry Me went to the races this week. It was a long weekend, but it was a fun weekend. And I am absolutely stoked. Cannot wait for next year's race. Although NASCAR has not come out with the 2024 schedule yet, there is rumblings that the date may move to either April or stay in September. If it does move to April, it would definitely be cooler, for sure.
It was brutal. It was
brutal. And I think the part that made it the most brutal was the fact that we showed up way too fucking early.
Yeah.
But
8 hours early, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, with that being said,
I mean, if it wasn't for we got lucky going up there early only because we got to see a show before the show.
So let's talk about this. We showed up at the track way too early. And if you work for Texas Motor Speedway, if you work for NASCAR, hey, you know, I'm going to apologize for what I'm about to say. But we got there. I paid for a parking pass for the express lot. Didn't even use it. Used the parking lot, but didn't use the parking pass because why? We got there and it was open.
We were there so early, nobody was set up yet.
Nobody was set up.
Well, they still got your money, so
yeah, they still got my money. So be that as it may, I think going forward, I almost asked for a refund on the parking, but I decided no, I'm not going to do that. Now, we got there. We parked all the way up front. And, you know, we didn't think anything of it at the time, but there was a red minivan that was parked next to us. And what appeared to be is like maybe, you know, a female race fan that was just sitting there and enjoying watching something on her phone. I thought it was a girl in that van. Didn't pay any attention because why? We rolled the windows down. We turned the Apple CarPlay up and we watched King of the Hill on my phone. Right? We're just killing some time, chilling out. Then out of the darkness, a pair of headlights enters the parking lot, pulls up next to the van, and then pulls away. The interior dome light of the van comes on, and what appeared to be, at the very least, a half-naked man was sitting in the seat. It was like, well, holy shit, what was he doing, and why is he naked?
He was at least topless. At the very
least topless. Now, that being said, minivan pulls out of our parking spot and acts like they're going to pull away. They're driving along the outer edge of the parking lot in a very conspicuously slow manner. The Honda, I'm assuming it was a Honda Accord or at least a Honda Civic sedan.
Let's forget about the specifics. Let's go through the whole thing, man. Because
I'm working on it.
That was fun.
I'm working on it. This new car, I say new, not new as in model year, as new as in participant in this scenario, starts following the minivan. And we started noticing, like, well, what the hell's going on here? This is odd.
We're like, is this security? Are they kicking him out?
Yeah, I mean, is he fleeing because he was caught rubbing one out? We don't know. Then the minivan stops. And we were like, no, tell me we're not seeing what we're seeing. Either it's a drug deal or it's a rendezvous. Well, guess what? Kids and, you know, girls and boys, kids of all ages, angry faithful, ladies and gentlemen, the driver of the sedan gets out and gets into the back of the minivan with the driver of the said minivan. And so we sat there. They sat there for at least 20 minutes before we decided to get curious enough to venture over there. David gets out of the car first and starts walking over there going, I've got balls. I've got no fear. And I'm like, okay, fine.
It should be noted too. He crawled over the console. He did not exit the vehicle.
Yes, he did not exit the vehicle. He crawled over the console. That's exactly. No, not David. We're talking about the person in the minivan. So for those of you, yeah. Now, well, we're not going to be outdone by David marching across the parking lot at the early hours of dawn with his fanny pack in tow. No. We put the car in gear. We drive up just a little bit. I stop just long enough for David to hop back in the vehicle, and off we drove. We circled slowly around both vehicles, upon which time David did get back out of the vehicle and took 3 or 4 steps towards the van, crouched down just a little bit to try to see through the tinting or the factory tent job on the back window of that minivan, and said that he witnessed a head bobbing up and down. Oh, yes, David said, he's getting head. He gets back in the car and we drive back over to the parking spot. We back back into the parking spot. So, combat parking, because some of us are better at parking than others. And my God, we just didn't want to back out of the parking spot. We just wanted to pull out, and we wanted to leave when
That
we wanted to
Bronco has
leave.
really good cameras too.
Oh yes, that Bronco really does have good cameras on it. Now, so upon going back to the parking spot, they sat there for at least another 15 or 20 minutes. Then because we're sitting here trying to figure out the scenario. We came to the conclusion that this person driving the minivan was not from out of town, because why meet at the track when they can just go to the hotel room?
They had to be locals.
Had to be locals. Now, when we determined that they were locals, then the brake lights on the sedan flashed, and that indicated to us that the driver of the sedan had gotten back into their vehicle, started it up, and they pulled away. They stopped at the entrance of the parking lot for what seemed like another 10, 15, 20 minutes, and we started to develop the backstory on our own, because we had no context. Because obviously we couldn't go up and knock on the window of the van and interrupt what might have been an adulterous tryst. I mean, far be it for us to deny a squirrel their nut, right? So,
giggity.
Yeah. So we started playing around with the concept that he's a deacon or an elder in a church, and that the person who visited him, it was most likely the preacher or pastor's wife. And that the pastor's wife and the deacon's wife are best friends. And in fact, the pastor's wife had to put makeup on to head to church because she was now running late for either choir practice or Sunday school that the deacon's wife was teaching. And so once we have established identities and relationships to other people at said church, we had to figure out what the denomination was. First, obviously, you would think that they would be Baptist. And then I believe it was David who said that they might have been Episcopal.
I believe I said Episcopalian.
Yes. You said
Presbyterian.
Episcopalian. David said
Presbyterian.
Lutheran. And I said, no, they are Methodists.
Methodist, yeah.
And I think Methodist is what we came to an agreement on.
Yeah, that was the consensus.
But then we're like, well, why the racetrack? I mean, they had to have known the racetrack would have been empty at this hour. Hence the reason that they were locals. Now, I don't know if this is an actual church or not. But you know what? As a matter of fact, let me look this up real quick.
What did we say it was?
First
United Methodist, I think is what we said. Or United First Methodist.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Could you imagine if the only reason why it was left open was for those people, and that's how we got in?
Now, there's a Fellowship United Methodist Church in Roanoke.
Oh.
So if you happen to stumble by accident upon our podcast and you attend the Fellowship United Methodist Church,
and you drive a red minivan.
And you drive a red minivan.
Busted.
Yeah. Busted. And if you drive that four-door sedan and you are friends or acquaintances of either two of these individuals, you are welcome for helping us put together 2 and 2 for you. And feel free to contact us at our Facebook page, Instagram, TikTok, or even on our YouTube feed.
What was crazy about it too, though, is that after she finally left, he stayed for hours. He never left the van. We were watching for a long time. He never left the van.
No.
Was the van gone when we left?
When we came back after the race.
We came back.
No, the van was still there when we came back. After when we got our food and came back to the car, the van was still there.
Yeah, the van wasn't gone until we pulled out of the parking place to leave at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't know at what point during the day he left, but he was there for a significant amount of time afterward.
Yeah, I mean,
because we went back to the car after
we embarrassed the female Fort Worth bicycle cop, because we were talking to the other Fort Worth bike cops that were there, and I believe if I'm not mistaken, because it was a long sun-drenched, beer-fueled day.
Yeah.
I believe I worded it as a
concerned citizen.
No, hold on. I'm trying to describe. Remember how I described it. It was a aggravated esophageal assault by phallus. It just those words grouped together in the context upon which they were. She chuckled and kind of gagged at the same time.
What was really funny is the senior guy there, the
sergeant that was there. He
took it serious. He was like, where is it? And we're like, dude, it's already done. Like,
we were just coming over asking.
What he wanted was the actual full just description. He was just having fun with it.
Right.
No, he had that it's go time look in his eye.
Yeah, he wanted to hear the story.
No, he was ready to go fucking put somebody in cuffs.
Oh,
I mean, they're bike cops, they're bicycle cops, and they know that, with the exception of the, maybe like an assault charge or, at least fighting, their day was going to be pretty much, hey, we're just here as a deterrent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because for the most part, NASCAR fans are pretty well behaved. Now, we want to give a shout out. I don't remember the name of the unit, but Specialist McNeil, if you are listening to this podcast,
I'm going to send him a link to it.
Okay. You are an amazing individual. You are a good soldier in the sense that as an E4, you look out for your legacy members of the mafia. You take care of your own.
He carries
remember that.
Well.
Yeah. So remember this. Remember that day. Remember the favor that you extended, the courtesy that you extended your fellow members of E4 Mafia's past. So we want to extend a very hearty, angry me thank you to Specialist McNeil. We'll get to why here in just a second. We started making our way around the the midway. I got my scanner, which, hey, the scanner was great. The scanner added a new dimension of immersion. I've experienced, listening to scanners before, but for Chris, it was especially meaningful because that this was his first NASCAR race. So, picked up the scanner. We went to some merchandise booths. We tried to score as much free crap that nobody else wanted as much as possible. Especially want to, give a shout out to the 160th Special Aviation or Special Operations Aviation Regiment group that was out there for giving us some beer koozies and lanyards and a couple of foam footballs. It was good looking out for that guy. But I wanted to buy a die cast, or at the very least a mini helmet. I was looking at some of these die casts, and we went to the Junior Motorsports / Legacy Motor Club trailer. I went because it's Junior Motorsports. I wanted to get something Dale Jr. related, or at the very least see if they had any Noah Gragson die cast, which obviously they didn't because, they released him, so they took all of his merchandise. Sadly enough, the only Black Rifle Coffee merchandise that they had was a couple of t-shirts and some stickers, right?
Mm-hmm. Koozie.
And a koozie, yeah. But I did manage. I was looking, and hold on, let me grab it here. Now, I didn't take this out of the box like I initially, like I intended to do. So, I got the 2021 United for America, Dale Jr. Camaro for the Xfinity Series. And, overall, I mean, it's the standard finish. and it's by the new company that handles the diecast. In the past, it's been Action that's handled the diecasts for NASCAR, and Action Racing still does kind of. They I think they got bought out by Lionel, Lionel of the scale model train area, but I started looking it over. I mean, this is a pretty solid diecast. And it's definitely the first one that I've gotten for the newer body styles. Definitely the first one of the Camaros that I've purchased, just because diecasts are expensive. But I got this one on sale. It was for $50, where everything else was going for 85 or 100. And I started looking at it. And I brought it to the attention of my cohorts. And I don't know if you guys can see that. Can you see that at all right there?
Yep.
Number 1 of 3,528.
Numero
uno. I mean, to me,
y'all should have seen his face. His eyes went just wide as saucers. And he like, tell me I'm seeing this. You're seeing this, right? Like, you see it too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
dude. And to get it on sale at that,
yeah, because initially, I wanted to take it out, because I wanted to put it on display like this one. This is the Budweiser 3 Doors Down car that is autographed by Dale Earnhardt Jr. I was either going to get, like I said, a Dale Jr. diecast, or I was going to get the Kyle Larson, either a Kyle Larson diecast car or the Kyle Larson mini helmet. But I found that and I was like, hey, you know what? My day's made. I'm good. So, I got something new for the backdrop. Yeah, I got something new for the backdrop. I was like, okay, great. Anyway, so we grab something to eat. We go back and kind of chill out for a little bit. And then, we decided that we were going to go ahead and try to make our way into the track. Way too early.
Yeah.
This is a day that where all three of us flirted with heat exhaustion. I think David actually came down with it.
No, I was legitimately just tired. Okay,
all right. Well, David works the third shift at his job, and yeah. So he was kind of beat down. Now, had David not woken us up at 2:30 in the fucking morning to go eat breakfast at Waffle House and actually plopped his ass back down on the couch and went back to sleep for maybe another 2 hours, he might have been just a little bit better off.
Yeah.
I was hungry. I would have gone by myself.
So in Africa, but good God, you don't see them complaining when they go to bed at night, do you?
Well, no.
They usually get eaten by lions if that happens.
We're over here. They're over there, so I can't see it.
All right, so yeah, I'm practicing my Coca-Cola family of drivers, Coca-Cola pose. I get swig points every time I do that.
Cha-ching.
Right. So we get into the track, and we're kind of checking everything out, and we're just really admiring our seats. They're right down on row number 1. We're literally 10 feet from the catch fence, and we're just kind of taking in the sights. We wanted to get a track pass to go down into the infield prior to the race, and they were $75 a piece, and we were just kind of looking at each other going, man, nah, fuck that. We're good. And so we go back to our seats, and we're kind of flirting with the idea of maybe just kind of going up into the shade and just kind of chilling out until at least at the very least they get the cars rolled out, right? Until, they start introducing the drivers for, driver introductions, things like that. Well, Specialist McNeil is seen by me walking down the steps, making his way towards the track access ladder there in section 130. And I yelled at him. I was like, hey, Specialist, get over here. And he turns around and he walks over to us. And I said, hey, you're going down there? He's like, yeah. I said, you think you could get us in by just telling like the ushers that we're with you? And he goes, sure, let's give it a shot. So I looked at David and Chris and I was like, fuck it, let's go. Let's try. We walk up and the usher immediately recognized us because Chris and I at least tried to go down there once without the wristbands. I mean, you can't really say that you went to the races unless you tried, right?
Right.
So the usher looks at us and he goes, yeah, sure, come on. And we're like, hell, fuck yeah.
I can't believe that worked. And
We
literally,
walked.
all he told him was just, he's with us. They're with me.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, go ahead. Whatever.
So we walked through the fence down onto the track, and there we are. We are in the infield. Chris took pictures of me making snow angels out in the infield grass. Rough, scratchy, itchy. I didn't really care.
Absolutely worth it.
Totally worth it. Up close and personal. I mean, we're then within like 3 feet of the race cars out on the starting grid. And we're just kind of taking it all in, right? Of course it's hot and everything like that, but the adrenaline is now starting to flow at this point because we're all experiencing something that none of us had ever done before. I've been in the garages before on race weekend for the Xfinity guys, and that was cool, but I never, and I got to help push the car out onto pit road for qualifying, but never been on the starting grid on the Cup side, never been in the infield for a Cup race. And that was a first, right? And so they're talking, they're doing NASCAR Trackside Live from the infield grass right there at the start finish line. They eventually do the really, really bad cover band for the opening concert or pre-race concert. Well, I don't want to say he was really bad, but I'm just kind of like, all right, man, your stage presence. Needless to say, the only reason why I knew that there was a concert going on is because I got a text message from the track talking about what the pre-race itinerary was going to be, but you couldn't help but overwhelmingly hear the music being pumped in through the speakers.
Yeah.
So, and then eventually they start cordoning off a walking path for the drivers to come from behind the pit wall to the stage for driver introductions. And I'm like, oh, I'm getting somebody's autograph today. And there was a kid, he had cerebral palsy, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chase Elliott fan. I had a conversation with him. Cool little kid. His dad was like, yeah, we're pulling for Chase Elliott today. And I was like, oh man, that's what's up. So one of the ushers grabs his kid's wheelchair and pushes them over to the front of the line and says, we're going to do what we can to try to get Chase's attention. Of course, Chase Elliott being Chase Elliott, just completely ignored everybody and just kept walking. As did a lot of drivers.
Anybody.
Yeah, he didn't. Then Bubba Wallace comes out and he walks over to where I'm standing, and in front of me are two women who were just, they had like the Elvis effect. They were shaking, they were crying, like, oh my God, Bubba, we're gonna pray for you. Blah, blah, blah. And he's all into it, and he's all of like 5'5".
He was tiny.
Tiny. The biggest thing on this guy was his head.
Yes. He looked like a bobblehead.
He did. He looked like a bobblehead, exactly. And he looked and he was standing there, and I guess he looked up at me, and I took a step back because that's how little I wanted his autograph.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're standing right there. You probably would have signed my Black Rifle coffee hat, but I didn't want to besmirch the fabric that hat was made with.
Yeah.
I didn't want to sully it.
I would have taken it away from you.
Right. And then here comes three of the four Hendrick drivers. Two of the other Hendrick drivers. You got William Byron, who eventually ended up winning that day. And then you got Alex Bowman. Alex Bowman is actually a pretty tall guy.
Yeah.
And then, you had some of the other drivers like Kyle Busch came out. I really wanted his autograph.
Jello Roll came out too.
Yeah. And I'm sorry. I'm an old-fashioned 90s country guy.
Mm-hmm.
If you would have told me back in 95, 96, 97 that I'd be listening to a guy singing country music who went by the stage name of Jelly Roll,
I'd have laughed
I'd
at you.
punch you right in the mouth.
Yep. Yeah, no hate against the guy. It's just not.
Yeah. Yeah. I just, he did have a spirited, starting command though.
It was. He did do well.
He did the command to start the engines justice.
Yes.
It
was no
Kyle
Kevin
Larson
James.
came out, and I am hollering at Kyle Larson. I'm like, I wanted his autograph. And he's short. Like, he's just maybe as tall, if not just a skosh shorter than my wife.
Mm-hmm.
And if it wasn't for the fact that I know because of social media that he's got a wife and kids, you'd swear he was every bit of 13 years old.
Yep.
I mean, dude is tiny. So he signed my black rifle hat. He almost didn't because he had a black marker. The hat is black, but it's got the silver mesh, the gray mesh. So he signed the mesh. So I'm like, all right, cool. Doesn't matter. Got the autograph. Gave him a fist bump, patted him on the back, told him, hey, hey, good luck out there. The fire suits are that's a nice material. Just kind of putting that out there. I know that a lot of times, like if you look on TV, it looks like the fire suits have things printed on them now. But his head did have some embroidery on it, so I thought that was a nice touch. And he just absolutely scorched everybody for most of the day.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I mean, but the sun was out there. It was beating on us for like what, the first half of the race?
At least half.
Yeah, at least half of the race. But once that sun actually went back behind the front grandstand tower, it actually became a little bit bearable. Well, it became more bearable, but we were to the point where, I mean, Texas Motor Speedway, props to you guys. You went out and you absolutely killed it with the cooling stations and the towels that you were dipping in ice water for people. Yeah. Outstanding. Bringing in, cooling fans. Awesome. Letting people, get a break from that heat. It was amazing. Now if the weather in Roanoke would have just cooperated and we'd have had the 88-degree high like we did on Monday instead of the 100-something degrees we did on Sunday, would have been perfect. That being said, I looked at Chris and I said, hey, I'm gonna wait till the first couple of laps after the green flags start, and I'm gonna move up and I'm gonna hang out in the breezeway and watch the race up there for a little while until the sun starts covering the seats. And he was like, yeah, I think I'm there too. But I'll be damned. That green flag dropped, and those cars started ripping by us and started pelting us with marbles off the tires, and you get the exhaust and just the whole thing. The adrenaline really started pumping at that point, and yeah, we didn't move.
Getting that first wall of air off of off the field when they first pass by, you get that rumble in your chest of everything. Just I was hooked immediately. I literally they passed through and they went into that turn one, and we watched them go around turn two, and they go on the back stretch, and they kind of fade just because we were so low you couldn't really see across. And I just look over at Johnny and I'm like, dude, I'm not going anywhere.
Like, no, that plan went completely out the window. But so Kyle Larson wrecks out late after leading all but 99 laps of the race, and that's because going in between turns 1 and 2, William Byron on that restart spun his tires a little bit, and he had to drop to the middle. And then, of course, Chase Elliott, being Chase Elliott and the team player that he is, didn't fill the void and get up there and push his teammate out front. So instead, they're running side by side for a couple of laps. And on the second lap into that restart, Bubba Wallace is on the outside and just took, either he made contact, which you're not going to convince me he didn't.
Yep.
Or he just took the air off the back of Kyle Larson's car.
There's not a doubt in my mind he made contact.
Yeah. I mean, we were right there. I mean, we saw it. I know what the driver said.
Even when I was looking at it, I literally he could have just did it like, a good jerk, and it wasn't. You couldn't see that.
Yeah, I mean, point is, Kyle Larson obviously had the car to beat that day. He gets his back end breaks loose. He backs it into the wall. It ended up being a single car accident.
And at least he went back, like he didn't get hurt.
And then I absolutely tripped out Chris. Like on the preceding caution laps, every time Bubba Wallace would drive by, I'm running up to the fence. I'm throwing the double barrel salute at him.
You suck.
I'm like, fuck you, Bubba. Fuck you. Yeah. I'm like, go get fucked and stay, get fucked and stay fucked. I mean, dude, I was in it, right?
Yeah.
And according to the scoring, William Byron actually had made his way back up to second when that caution came out. So they had another restart, and William Byron, I mean, he was holding his own, and then here comes Chase Elliott being a good teammate, gives his teammate a boost, gives him a little bit of a bump draft, and coming right out of turn 2, screaming down halfway down the back straightaway, going into turns 3 and 4. William Byron finally clears Bubba Wallace and takes the lead and doesn't look back.
Beautiful pass too.
Oh,
it was just.
I mean, if you watched the race on TV, you could hear the crowd just overwhelmingly roar.
Yes.
Right. But in person, it was an explosion of enthusiasm.
Yeah.
And
it was like the whole mood, because the air went out. As soon as Kyle Larson hit the wall, the air just went out of the entire place.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle Larson was pulling away. I mean, like, he had up to a 7.5 second lead at one point over second place.
Yeah, he was getting
he was coming out of turn 2. By the time the second place car got to the entrance of turn 1.
Yeah.
I mean, he was beating everybody by 2 corners. And on the radio, I mean, his crew chief, Cliff Daniels is just telling him, turns 1 and 2, you're perfect. You're just a tick off in turns 3 and 4, but you're still better than everybody else on both ends. And I'm just, man. But William Byron ended up bringing the win home for Hendrick Motorsports, locked himself into the round of 8. So good job on William Byron. Made a lot of friends at the racetrack that day by beating Bubba Wallace straight up. Of course, Bubba Wallace is going to sit there and cry about it during the post-race interviews. Like, oh, well, we just kind of gave it away there a little bit. Like, no, dude, you just ran out of talent. Just like you ran out of talent whenever you couldn't get off of Kyle Larson's rear end.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, Kyle Larson, in retrospect, he could have relinquished that fight, and he had the car to beat Bubba Wallace. He could have overwhelmingly overtaken him.
I think if it would have been more than what was it, 10, 11 laps that were left at that point?
Yeah.
If he would have had
at the caution flag, it was like 7.
Yeah, I think he would have. If he would have had more laps left, I think he would have. He would have played that a little bit more cautiously.
Yeah.
He was feeling the crunch of the end.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just he knew his car was good.
Yeah.
And the adrenaline's up there. He's like, I'm not going to give it up, and I'm not going to give him the clean air. I mean, all he had to do was just back down a little bit.
Yep.
And he could have gotten a side draft off of Bubba Wallace, which would have actually slowed Wallace down coming out of turn 2. And he could have passed him on the inside and just set sail and took off. But hindsight being 2020, Monday morning quarterbacks, and in this case, Tuesday evening quarterbacking. I mean, we can replay that scenario over and over, and we could have 99 different outcomes. 98 of them would have still had Kyle Larson winning, but what happened in reality is what did happen. But when William Byron pulled in for the victory, it actually, the one race, the first race that we get Chris Jacka to, ended up being a historical race because it was win number 300 for Hendrick Motorsports.
Jesus.
So if Kyle Larson couldn't have brought it home, at least Byron was able to finish it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I like William Byron. I do. He started out as an iRacer. He worked in the simulation program for Hendrick Motorsports.
And it was crazy because he was not anywhere.
He really
in
wasn't
the
a factor
race.
all day.
Yeah, like he was not a factor at all the entire day until those last 2 cautions.
Yeah, I mean, he just kind of, it's like he popped up there, and I was like, you know, I caught myself thinking, I'm like, where the hell did he come from?
Right.
You know, it's just like,
Yeah, he was patient. He bided his time, and
yeah, he took care of his car. I mean, the whole 9 yards, and you know, good for him. I mean, young guy. I'm excited. I'm happy for him.
Most importantly, though,
yeah, Bubba Wallace didn't win.
well, not only that, he's outside the bubble.
Yeah, that's right. Let me pull up the standings right now. Let me see here. Current driver playoff standings. So right now, your top 8 drivers: William Byron, Denny Hamlin, Chris Buescher, C. Bell or Christopher Bell, Martin Truex Jr., who had a pretty solid day, even though he wrecked. He didn't wreck. He spun out. I think he blew a tire. We thought it was an engine, but he blew a tire, limped it back around to pit lane, got the tire swapped out. I think he only went 1 lap down.
I think he lost a tire.
No, that was.
Oh no, that wasn't him. You're right. That wasn't him.
Yeah, that wasn't him. That was Austin Dillon in the number 3 car.
You're right.
Yeah.
You picked a fine time to leave me loose wheel. Then we got Ross Chastain. Ross Chastain, if I'm not mistaken, I think he ended up coming home second on Sunday. So it was a pretty solid day for him. Brett Keselowski. Brad's a talented driver, but I am not, what's the word I'm looking for, impressed with his fan engagement. I'm just not. And it's not because I didn't get an autograph from him. I don't really care. It's the fact that he didn't walk through the fans, the designated walking path. He cut across behind us and didn't even so much as acknowledge people's requests for an autograph. He just kept his eyes straight forward and ignored everybody. And he had that look on his face of like, I'm Brett Keselowski and you're not.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we here at RFK Racing, we know we're good. You know, we're good and we know it. You know, I halfway expect somebody to pop into my mouth one day and be like, nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
Yeah.
But he's the number 7 driver right now. And then Kyle Larson, who had that monster day with the disappointing finish. I mean, he led all but 99 laps of the race and ended up finishing 31st on Sunday. He's in the 8th position. Now, you got on the bubble. Kyle Larson is the bubble driver right now. So below that cutoff line, 9th through 12th, you've got Bubba Wallace himself, Mr. Oh, I can't seem to cut a break because NASCAR's racist. Yeah, well, they happen to give you, I mean, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if NASCAR had somebody go in and give Bubba just a couple of more horses under the hood and then gave the guys in tech reason to let his car get through, you know, kind of made it a career decision for him. I swear to God, NASCAR wants Bubba Wallace to win races so bad because he is their poster child for diversity.
Yes.
It's disgusting. I mean, prove me wrong.
It's obvious.
Prove me wrong. You know, and it's not me being bitter because like, oh, he's just a Hendrick fan. Well, no, I mean, I like Ford drivers too. I just can't stand Bubba Wallace because he's arrogant, he's cocky, and his mouth overrides any kind of checks that his talent can write.
Don't forget that one time where he found a noose in his garage.
Okay, so the quote unquote noose that was on the garage pull down,
pull tab on the.
I mean, that knot. They don't get assigned garage stalls until they get there on Thursday.
Yeah,
right. That knot had been there since last season.
Yeah.
And it wasn't tied in a noose. You're thinking like the 13 loops with the whole, the loop down at the middle or down at the bottom.
Yeah, just a loop.
It was a slip knot.
Yeah.
The slip knot that somebody could reach up and pull the garage door down with. And that's just because it didn't have the plastic handle. They've got all kinds of cameras. They've got all kinds of security in that garage area to imply that somebody went in there and tied a noose. He wanted to make that about him.
Yep.
I'm the victim. Look at me, everybody. I'm Bubba Wallace. And then of all people, his owner at the time, his team owner, his boss, the king, Richard Petty, decided to acquiesce and make his car that weekend the Black Lives Matter car. And everybody in the NASCAR community, they got out crew chiefs, pit crews, drivers. They pushed Bubba's car to the front of the starting grid, and he got to lead the parade laps because we care. Whatever. You guys overreacted and you over sympathized with somebody who had absolutely no evidence to back up his accusations.
Yeah. Literally nothing happened to him.
We got Bubba Smollett driving the number 23 McDonald's Toyota for 2311 Racing.
Yep. Oh, and there was nobody. There was legitimately probably 8 people in that entire stadium that was rooting for him at all.
Yeah.
There was a lot of boos.
Oh, a lot of boos. Hey, Starman Gary I'm going to say Bowie because he's got David Bowie as his icon. So what's going on, Starman? Tyler Reddick. I kind of like Tyler Reddick. I don't like the way that he left RCR Racing. The only reason I like the fact that he left RCR Racing is because of the fact that he opened up a spot for Kyle Busch. And, as a diehard Dale Jr. fan that I've been, the fact that I can now root for Kyle Busch, it's kind of foreign. It's like an Earnhardt fan being able to root for Jeff Gordon openly. Right. So, but then you got Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney drives the number 12 Penske Menards Ford Mustang. I like Ryan Blaney because he's kind of a throwback, right? He's got that old school kind of a hick mentality, but he's smart as hell. Drives the shit out of a race car. He won the Coca-Cola 600 this year, so I mean, he can put 2 and 2 together. He can run with the best of them. He just seems to be a little snake bit down the stretch. But I would love to see him win a championship. I really would, even if it is for Roger Penske. I would love to see him win a championship. And then you got Kyle Busch, who right now is in 12th position. He is the last driver in the round of 12 right now. So you've basically got 11. You got 11 drivers now fighting for 7 spots. Just because William Byron took home the victory on Sunday, he locked himself into the next round. He doesn't have to worry about it. But you can guarantee he's going to go out and he's going to drive his ass off at Talladega this coming Sunday. He's going to try to put himself into a position to win. He's good at plate racing. He's very aware of the situation around him. He works well with his spotter and his crew chief. But I'm really thinking that if it came down to it, he's going to help Kyle Larson at the end of that race on Sunday. Because if he's in a position where he can push Kyle Larson out front, he's going to do exactly that. So that's kind of my prediction. I think Kyle Larson's going to bounce back. He's going to get himself off the bubble. He may even lock himself in with the win to the next round with a win on this Sunday. So, like I said, we're just going to have to wait and see how that kind of plays out and, go from there. But, we've got, when it's funny. I read a lot of articles about Sunday, and overwhelming majority of them were about how Bubba Wallace came up short in the end. Wasn't about William Byron win the race. Wasn't about Kyle Larson wrecking out. Wasn't about what happened to any of the other drivers. It was about how, dang it.
Kyle Larson was the one that was leading the majority.
Yeah. With the way that the aero package on these cars are set up is that once you get out in that clean air, you can take off. Doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah.
Now, case in point, Bubba Wallace, he started from the pole. He led like the first 58 laps or something like that. Now, he led quite a bit.
And he was running way out front as well, too. When he was ahead, he was way out there.
Yeah, he was. Now, I think the furthest he got out was like maybe 4.2 seconds.
Something like that.
Kyle Larson got out front after making adjustments, and he took off and checked out. I think he had up to like a 7.5 second lead at one point before a caution came in. So we've seen, we've seen the, we've seen what Kyle Larson can do when he gets out front, especially at the All-Star race this year at North Wilkesboro. He damn near lapped the whole field. So I mean, he had a straightaway and a half lead on second place. So that kid, he's a wheel man. I don't see Kyle Larson, as long as he can have a productive and good finish at Talladega. He doesn't necessarily have to win at Talladega. He just needs to finish the race. He needs to finish in the top 10, top 15, and he can advance his spot in the points. I don't see him missing the round of 8.
No.
So, but like I said, definitely we're gonna wait for the schedule to come out next year or for next year, and we're definitely gonna plan to go back. I mean, I would love to see David in the stands a little bit more. He did come down there at the end of the race. Not knocking on you at all, David. I understand, it's hot, it was miserable, and you were on top of that, you were exhausted on top of everything else. So I think next year when we go, we play it a little bit smarter. We start budgeting
8 hours early.
Yeah. We'll get there like maybe when the gates open at 9, kind of thing. So
right.
And instead of waiting on Racing Electronics to, finally figure out how to, expediently gather up the scanners that people rented from them. I was in that line for probably 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
So,
what got me about the whole scanner thing, I figured it'd be like closer to the middle instead of like way at the very fucking end.
Yeah. And then when people were asking them, why do you only have one location to turn these things in at? The representative from Racing Electronics that was there helping to collect the scanners turned it around and put it on us. Like, well, if you guys would show up in bigger numbers, we would be able to offer more locations. It's like, excuse me?
How much does one of those things cost?
Let me look here.
Here, let me go ahead and, since you're done with that, I'll go ahead and.
Yeah, go ahead and take that off for me real quick. All right, so my account, I've got my lists. Oh my God, hold on a second.
I've been watching on Twitter or X right now while he's trying to pull that up, but apparently Britney Spears has gone crazy again. I mean, it's not a surprise. She's like doing a dance with knives.
I don't think it's that she's gone crazy again.
I think she just stopped.
Well, here's the thing. With everything that she's gone through, and I'm not making excuses for the girl at all. Do not take it that way, because that is not what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird shit that's going behind her from Hollywood and whatnot. I mean, there's high speculations that she was sexually abused while she was working in Disney. So,
You know, even if she was, and don't take this the wrong way. I'm not saying that, oh, if you're sexually abused, that, you know, you've got whatever. Okay. It happened. Okay. If it did happen, it happened. At this point in your life, you need to take the proactive or at least the reactive steps to take responsibility for your own life and get the help that you need.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So,
Hey, Johnny. Is
yeah.
there anything else you wanted to finish up on?
Yeah, hold on a second, because I'm trying to get back into my Amazon here. Hold on just a second. All right. Anyway, so a race scanner that I looked at. Let me just pull it up on my phone. Holy shit. Oh, so the nerd portion of the show, just to kind of touch base real quick. Andy Weir, who wrote the novel that the movie The Martian was based on, it's actually a trilogy. It's The Martian, Artemis, and Hail Mary, Project Hail Mary. I had seen a video on Reddit today that was talking about science fiction, you know, locations based on real world star charts. And it really kind of puts into perspective, like Wolf 359 is like 7.7 light years from here. But they started talking about Andy Weir's books. Man, so I looked it up and I'm like, oh, I've got Project Hail Mary coming to me tomorrow in the mail. So I'm really looking forward to that book.
Nice.
Let's see here, my list. I should have just pulled it up on my damn phone. Let me see here. My list. And yeah, so like there's a race scanner. Instead of having like the AAA batteries or the 9-volt batteries, you know, that you're going to spend way too much money, you know, trying to keep up with to replace this particular scanner that I found. It's, you know, it's got like a 10-channel memory on it, and you can recharge it via Bluetooth. Not Bluetooth, but the USB 3 or USB-C rather. Yeah. And I was like, oh man, that's kind of gnarly. I like that. And so that's like $120 for the scanner itself versus the $60 that I paid to rent the one, you know, rent it the one time. And then a set of headphones is going to run me about $30 or $40, depending on whether or not I want one with a microphone on it.
Yeah.
A splitter is like maybe $20 at most. And that's if you get top of the line, you know, whatever. But, you know, I'm definitely going to invest in a scanner for next year's race because it's not expensive at all. In fact, you can get the frequency lists for the teams for free from a lot of different websites. I mean, because it's out there. So I'll just do that. That way I don't have to waste an extra hour, you know, trying to find my way through that line. Now, on the bright side, it did meet some individuals in that line. One of whom said that he was going to check out our podcast. You know, so I mean, it did give me an opportunity to, you know, advertise. But now, as far as the advertising, I know that we discussed business cards. Mindy did say that she is going to get on that website this week. So be expecting some kind of like a sit down with her.
Nice.
This week, David. So that way we can get.
It'll be on tomorrow or Sunday.
All right. Well, I'll let her know. But you know, so that way we can get some business cards printed up, and you know, we can start handing them out. You know, I think maybe a QR code on there would look pretty cool.
Yeah.
But,
I had one, but I ended up going away from that website since it was like $400 a year.
yeah. So I mean, with this one, I mean, she'll go over all the particulars with you. But you know, for those of you keeping score at home, it's you know, we're about to, you know, we're going to get our website built. We're going to announce when it's going to get launched. There will be links for merchandise, and so once we get everything all hammered out, we're going to start, giving you guys direction on or guidance rather, as to how to obtain that Angry Me merch. So whether it be a coffee mugs or t-shirts, stickers, we're definitely going to let you know what's going on. But yeah, be on the lookout for that. We're trying to get things going in the right direction. I know that there's a lot of podcasts out there that have already got merch sites. They've already got websites. They've got Patreon stuff. They've got, all these other platforms that they go, offer interactiveness with. But we're figuring it out. I mean, it only took us 127 episodes before we finally went to a live sporting event together. But hey,
Yeah.
But I mean, overall, man, I mean, the weekend was, I think, just a resounding success. I mean, I know that
absolutely
it beat us into the ground, but the 100+ degree weather probably had a big hand in that. But I'm excited. I can't wait for next year because I mean that's going to be just outstanding.
Absolutely.
And and depending on how well the website does and how well monetization for the show goes, I kind of see us not having to really come out of pocket other than just personal gas expenses to get from point A to point B.
Yeah.
So
fantastic.
Help us help ourselves, so that way we can help you by bringing you fresh content that's relative by allowing us to attend these comic conventions or these live sporting events. So that way when we come to you with our nerd sports, we can be nerds and we can talk about sports, and it's just a whole thing. So tab A slot B, 1 and 1 makes 3, that kind of a thing. So David, let's go ahead and land this plane, man. We're at 2 hours and 23 minutes.
Yep. So everybody,
do you want to do a quick joke section real quick? Because Colin's not going to be able to make the show, but he did send me his jokes for the day.
Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. All right. Come on. Why'd the piano man go to jail?
Why?
Because he put his finger in the wrong minor.
Oh no!
Ooh. Oh. I should have read that one first. Oh man, that was. Oof. What's the difference between a pedophile and a condom?
What?
A condom gets thanked for catching kids.
Oh no! Oh no!
Those jokes are brought to you by my kid. He is not here for joke time with Colin this week because he's out playing baseball. So hey, you know what? I will allow that. I would much rather him miss because he's partaking in the national pastime.
He definitely gets a pass.
Yeah. Oh my God, dude. That was rough. Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for all for watching. I'm David Dickerman.
I'm Johnny Skelton.
And I am Chris Jacka.
There was a pause there. He's like,
yeah.
Oh, it's my turn.
Yeah. My turn.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not at 100%.
It's the 101 fever. So yeah.
Y'all have fun. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching.
Laters.
Oh, wait, hold on. There we go. Peace. Wait, I gotta do it. Don't pause yet.
It's gotta be
how it counts because it's below the waist.
Gotcha.